Sure. Stop.
Good evening, sir. I am Yasamin Toreta. I'm here to interview you for our SOCSI subject. I'll be asking personal questions regarding your gender.
Okay.
What is your name?
So, my name is Willie B. Sumampong.
And how old are you?
I am 17 and on. I am 24 years old.
Where were you born?
I was born here in Butuan City, Philippines.
Where do you currently live?
I also live and reside at Purok 13B San Vicente, Butuan City as well.
What is your gender orientation?
So my gender orientation is obviously I belong to the LGBT community, which is I belong under the spectrum of gay. So that's basically my gender orientation.
What age did you realize your gender orientation?
Again, what's that?
What age did you realize your gender orientation?
Okay, so since I was a young boy, I already knew that I was that I have this gender orientation. But of course, during that time, I didn't know the term, right? Because we were still kids, and we didn't know about those terms. So, siguro I realized that I am this when I got into elementary days. Siguro mga between the ages of uh, 8 beyond or 7 beyond. So since I was 7, I think, or 6, I already knew, that I was this one, that I was gay.
Are you single or in a relationship, married?
Why are you asking? Wow. Okay, I'm single. I'm pretty much single since birth, by the way.
Um, what pronoun do you want people to use to address you? He, she, they, or others? If others, what?
Okay, so for my part, I'm not that conscious about using pronouns. No, so whether people would call me she, he, they, I'm okay with that. So I'm not that specific when it comes to pronouns. But of course, since I'm a professional, so most of my students would address me as he, as sir. So uh, and my friends, of course, they would call me depending on their way, or depending on how they would call me.
Have you experienced any kinds of assaults with regards to your gender?
Okay, so of course, being a gay person, being bullied, and having been called names, are common among us, the LGBT community. So I think there was no serious assault in that manner. I think there was just this common bullying that happened since when I was growing up. So people would call me names, people would call me the bio term, and people would try to underestimate me because of my gender, and they would also try to uh, uh, as what I've said nga, call me names, other people. Okay, so I think that was the pretty much, that was the only thing, or the only experience that I had when it comes to my gender. Okay, lucky for me, I uh, didn't have any experience where I got punched, because I was gay. Because my classmates are also my friends, no. Siguro katulad siguro mga male students during those times, who would call me names. Of course, uh, because they are straight, no? But during high school, uh, I didn't experience much of bullying.
So, what have you done to conquer it?
What I have done to con-
Conquer.
conquer it. I pretty much ignored it. No, so I just ignored it. But if they went too far, no, when in their bullying, of course I would react to that, no, because I would not let any person bring me down as well. No, but of course, when I was young, of course I'm still young back then. I was a kid. So pretty much I wasn't able to defend myself, and then I just ignored those students who would try to call me names, or who would uh, what do you call this one, who would lait me, or who would tease me, if we call it that one, who would tease me because of my gender orientation. Okay, but uh, luckily for me, no, as I've said earlier, I didn't experience the worst, compared to the other members of the LGBT community. So I conquered it by just ignoring them, but uh, when uh, when they went too far, then that's the time that I would react and I would defend myself. No, because calling names was pretty much I got used to it. So basically I got used to calling names. So basically wala na sa ako. So I just ignored it, and then I just prayed for those people. Okay, but I hope no that those kinds of uh, actions would diminish, or would uh, not be existent anymore, no? Because especially for those younger generations, no?
Do you have any movement to help your fellow community?
You mean the LGBT community?
Yes.
In my own little way, I don't have a specific movement that I have started, but in my own little way I tried helping my community by sharing posts, no, about awareness of the community, about uh, uh, laws, no, that protect, or laws that are now starting to roll up for the members of the community. So in my own little ways, I try to help bring awareness to the people about us, about the LGBT community, so that every person would really be open-minded. Because of course, diba, as we all know, uh, there are still a lot of Filipinos who don't recognize gays, lesbian, and bisexuals, or LGBT members as normal people. No? So they would uh, try to call us as abnormal, as different, no? As something that we are sick, or in that way, or something like that. So that's the way, no, that I have that I am doing to at least eradicate these thinking of many Filipinos about the LGBT community. But of course, since we are now in the 21st generation, 21st century, people are starting to recognize the members already. Now, people are starting to be open-minded to embrace this community that we have.
Is your family supportive with your choice
My choice about what?
about your gender identity?
Yes, of course. They fully support me. They pretty much they already knew since I was a little kid. So they already knew about it. So they don't have a choice but to support me. No, and they are happy about that. So there's no problem when it comes to my family. And again, I'm so blessed that I was not able to experience the experiences of my fellow LGBT when it comes to their family, because diba, there are families who are really traditional and who really would not support their LGBT children. So again, I was lucky enough to have a family that is embracing, that is supporting me in my gender and in my career. No?
What can you say to other people who might have experienced the same thing you went through? Any words of encouragement?
Okay, so for those people who experience being called names, no, being bullied about their gender orientation, because that's what I experienced, no, so that's what I can just share to them. Because as I was saying earlier, I was lucky enough because I did not get punched or something like that for being gay. But of course, I was being called names. No, I was belittled by other people because of my gender. So my advice to them is just, of course, to just focus on their family, and to focus on themselves. No, ignore those people who would who will call their names or who would belittle them, because at the end of the day, the most important thing in life is not their comments or not their reactions about you, but the most important thing is yourself and your family. No, so I just advise them to just be brave, no, to be courageous in defending yourselves, and to ignore those negative comments about their gender orientations, because as long as you love yourself, as long as you uh, don't step into other people's shoes, no, into other people's lives, then that's okay, no, because we are normal people and we should be living as one, no. So I would advise them to not be afraid, no, and to just be free, no, in their expression of their gender. So I think that's my advice for the fellow members of the community, especially the younger ones, no, since uh, they are the ones who are really prone to this kind of teasing. So I think that's my advice.
Okay. Thank you so much for your answering all my questions, Mr. Willis.
Thank you, thank
Thank
you.
you so
It's
much
my
for your
pleasure. Thank you very much.